Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a mountain of stuff about this Asteroid 2024 YR4.
Yeah.
News articles, Wikipedia entries.
Oh, wow.
Even some real hardcore science papers.
Someone's interesting.
You're clearly fascinated by this space rock.
Well, with headlines screaming that it might hit Earth, who wouldn't be?
Right.
Like, it's a little freaky.
Okay,
It
so
is.
maybe let's rewind for a second.
Yeah.
2024 YR4. When did this even show up? Like, when did it pop up on our radar?
It was discovered pretty recently, actually.
Uh-huh.
December 27th, 2024.
Oh, wow.
By the Atlas telescope system in Chile.
Atlas.
Yeah, it's specifically designed to find these potentially hazardous asteroids, the ones that could,
The ones that come a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, exactly.
So at first, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, was it?
In the beginning, astronomers gave it a 1.2% chance of hitting Earth.
Okay.
But as we've observed it more, that number has climbed a bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, between 2.1 and 2.3%.
So it's not a huge jump.
Not huge, no.
But-
But it's enough to make everyone sit up and pay attention.
So hold on, the odds are increasing. Shouldn't they be getting more accurate and, hopefully smaller over time?
It's counterintuitive, right? You would think that.
Yeah.
But think about it like trying to track a ship at sea.
Okay.
At first, you only have a couple sightings, and you have a vague idea where it's going.
Yeah.
But as you get more data,
Right.
more sightings, more measurements, you might realize it's not going in a straight line.
Oh.
Its path is a little wobblier and a little more unpredictable.
So in the beginning, our view of 2024 YR4 was like a blurry photo, and as we zoom in, we're getting a clearer picture. But that picture might show it headed right for us.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Oh, great.
And plus, we're dealing with something millions of miles away,
Uh-huh.
moving at crazy speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Even a tiny change in its initial trajectory, it can make a huge difference later on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get just how big this is.
Right.
But speaking of big, how big are we talking?
How big is 2024 YR4?
Yeah, give me a visual. I need like a picture in my head.
Current estimates put it at 130 to 300 feet across.
Okay.
So imagine a football field
Okay.
flying through space
Uh-huh.
at 38,000 miles an hour.
Okay, that's officially terrifying, even if it's not, planet sugar size.
Yeah,
But how do astronomers even keep track of all this stuff?
right.
It seems impossible, like finding a needle in a haystack out in space.
It really is incredible what they do. They
Yeah.
have this whole network of telescopes on the ground and in space.
Right?
And these telescopes are equipped with wide field cameras.
Uh-huh.
And these cameras take multiple images of the same area
Okay.
over a period of time.
Okay.
And then they use software to compare those images and look for anything that's moving.
Against the background of the stars?
Exactly.
So it's like they're playing spot the difference, but on a cosmic scale.
Uh-huh. Pretty much.
And the faster an object appears to be moving,
Yeah.
the closer it is.
The closer it is to Earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like if a car speeds past you, the closer it is, the faster it seems to go.
It's all relative.
Exactly.
But okay, so they spot something moving. How do they know if it's actually going to hit us?
That's where it gets even more complicated.
Yeah.
They have to figure out its orbit, its path through space.
Oh.
That takes a lot of measurements, calculations, computer models, all to figure out where it's headed.
So they're like connecting the dots.
Yeah,
But in 3D.
right.
And with a target that's constantly on the move.
Great analogy.
And we're working with limited data, especially with a brand new asteroid like YR4.
Yeah,
So there's always going to be some uncertainty.
there's always some wiggle room.
And is that uncertainty what's causing those impact odds to go up?
Exactly. As they gather more data, they refine their understanding of YR4's orbit.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes in the early stages, that can lead to more possibilities, not fewer.
Right, because there's more information.
Eggs.
And I remember from one of these articles that there's a blind spot when asteroids are coming at us from the direction of the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it tough to see them.
Yeah, the glare makes it really difficult. Like
Yeah.
with the Chelyabinsk meteor in 2013, it came out of nowhere and surprised everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It really did.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
So back to 2024 YR4.
Yeah.
What are they doing right now to
Mm-hmm.
get a handle on this thing?
Yeah.
Especially with its limited window.
Right.
They have.
Well, they're using everything they've got.
Uh-huh.
Ground-based telescopes are constantly monitoring YR4.
Okay.
And in March, the James Webb Space Telescope is going to join the effort.
So they're bringing in the big bucks.
It's the most powerful telescope ever built.
Right.
So we're hoping to get some incredible data.
That's exciting.
It is.
But I was reading that 2024 YR4 would be too dim to see after April.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can't see it again until 2028.
That's right.
I mean, that's not a lot of time.
It's not much time at all. It's a
No.
race against the clock to gather as much information as possible before it disappears.
So they're trying to figure out size, shape,
Yeah.
rotation,
All of that.
and most importantly, composition.
Yeah, composition is key.
Okay, so we talked about composition a little bit earlier.
Uh-huh.
Why is it so important?
Well, it tells us what it's made of,
Right?
which is important if we need to, you know.
Do something about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, remember the DART mission?
Oh, right.
Where
Or NASA slammed a spacecraft into an asteroid just to see if they
Yeah.
could move it.
See if they could change its course.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I mean, that's amazing.
It really is.
So we know that we can deflect an asteroid,
Right.
but does it depend on what it's made of?
Well, yeah, the effectiveness of that method really depends on the asteroid's composition.
Oh, okay.
A solid chunk of rock would react differently to an impact than, like, a loose collection of debris.
Right, like a rubble pile.
Exactly, a rubble pile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine trying to pitch a bowling ball versus a pile of gravel.
Haha, exactly.
You'd get very different results.
You would.
So with 2024 YR4, how are they figuring out what it's made of?
Well, they analyze the light that's reflected off its surface.
Okay.
It's like taking a fingerprint,
Uh-huh.
but instead of identifying a person, we're identifying the building blocks of the solar system.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is.
And that fingerprint can tell us where it came from?
Yeah,
Like billions of years ago?
exactly.
So what's 2024 YR4 telling us?
Well, initial analysis suggests it could be either an S-type or an L-type asteroid.
Okay.
S-types are mostly stony, kind of like Earth's crust.
Uh-huh.
So they likely formed closer to the sun.
Closer in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And L-types are a little more unusual.
Oh.
They're also stony,
Okay.
but they have different minerals.
Okay.
So they probably formed further out.
So knowing all that
Yeah.
about 2024 YR4's composition,
Right.
what does that tell us about how we might deflect it?
Well, a solid S-type asteroid would probably respond well to a kinetic impactor,
Okay.
like what they use with DART.
Like DART?
Yeah, but if it's a loosely bound type, like a rubble pile,
Uh-oh.
it gets a little trickier. It
Oh.
might absorb more of that impact energy, making it harder to move.
Yeah.
Plus, you could risk shattering it into smaller pieces.
Which is maybe even worse.
Could be.
Right.
Yeah.
So solid, good news, rubble pile.
Not so much.
Bad news.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if DART isn't enough? What are some of the other options?
Well, there's some really interesting ideas out there.
Okay.
One is a gravity tractor.
A gravity tractor. What is that, like a
So,
cosmic tow truck?
yeah, pretty much.
How would that even work?
Well, it's based on physics.
Okay.
You basically park a massive spacecraft near the asteroid,
Mm-hmm.
and over time, its gravity will pull on the asteroid and change its course.
So even though the spacecraft's gravity is small,
Yeah.
it can still move the asteroid?
Over time, yeah.
Okay, so it's like a slow and gentle nudge.
Exact,
A
yeah.
cosmic tugboat.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more controlled than just slamming into it.
It is.
But it takes a long time.
It does, yeah.
Like how long?
We could be talking years or even decades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what if we need a faster solution?
right.
Like we just spotted this thing and it's headed straight for us. What do we do?
Well, in those extreme cases, they've considered using nuclear explosives.
Whoa, hold on. Blowing up an asteroid
It's definitely a last resort.
seems kind of risky.
It would be.
Yeah.
It's risky, and there are a lot of unknowns.
Like what?
Like, what would the explosion do?
Right.
Could we control the pieces?
Yeah.
And what about the radiation?
Yeah. No one wants space radiation.
Nobody wants that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it seems like every option has its pros and cons.
Yes, they do.
Well, how do we decide,
Yeah.
like, which way to go?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
It would be a global decision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, scientists, governments,
Yeah.
international organizations would all have to work together.
Right, because we're talking
It's
like
a big responsibility.
the whole planet.
It is. It's the fate of the planet.
Yeah, no pressure.
Haha, right.
All right, well,
So,
while we're figuring out, how to save the world,
uh-huh.
let's bring it back to 2024 YR4.
Okay.
You were talking earlier about NASA's system
Yeah.
for ranking asteroid threats.
Right.
Where does YR4 fall on that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So NASA looks at the size of an asteroid and the odds of it hitting Earth.
Okay.
And they have these different categories from ones that could cause local damage to ones that could cause global.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2024 YR4, where is it on the, scale of doom?
Well, thankfully, it's not a planet killer.
Okay, good.
Planet killers are usually at least a kilometer across.
Okay.
YR4 is way smaller than that.
That is good news.
It is.
But even small asteroids can still cause damage.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Chelyabinsk.
Exactly. Chelyabinsk is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Even an asteroid the size of YR4 could do a lot of damage if it hit a city.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's all about balancing the risk with the odds of it actually happening.
Exactly.
And that's why they're working so hard to nail down its trajectory.
That's right.
Okay, this is all fascinating.
It is.
But I have to say, it's also a little unsettling.
It's definitely unsettling.
I'm starting to understand why you call this a slow-motion thriller.
Haha, yeah, it does have that feeling of suspense.
Yeah.
But the good news is, every new observation gets us closer to the truth.
Uh-huh.
Which hopefully means better predictions and a solid plan of action if we need one.
Knowledge is power.
That's right.
Well, speaking of knowledge, I'm really curious to learn more about what the composition of asteroids like 2024 YR4 can tell us about the early days of the solar system.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a whole other deep dive.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent a lot of time talking about 2024 YR4,
Yeah.
how astronomers track it,
Right.
what we might do if it turns out to be a real threat.
All the big questions.
But now I kind of want to shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about what asteroids like YR4 can teach us about the history of our solar system,
Yeah.
like cosmic archaeology.
It really is. Asteroids are like time capsules
Oh, wow.
from the very beginning of the solar system.
Billions of years ago.
Billions of years.
Wow. So take me back to the beginning.
Okay.
How do asteroids fit into the whole solar system formation story?
So picture this.
Okay.
A swirling cloud of gas and dust.
Okay.
That was our solar system in its infancy.
Uh-huh.
Over time, gravity pulled all that material together, forming larger and larger clumps.
Okay.
And some of those clumps became planets.
Right.
But tons of others just stayed as asteroids.
So they're like the leftover building block
Exactly. Leftover building blocks.
from the solar system's construction project.
Haha, yeah, I like that.
Except these building blocks are flying through space.
At crazy speeds.
Yeah, that's a little different from your average construction site.
A little bit, yeah.
So because they haven't,
Right.
gone through the same changes as planets,
Uh-huh.
like volcanoes,
Volcanic eruptions,
Yeah.
plate tectonics, all that.
they've basically stayed the same for billions of years.
Pretty much unchanged, yeah.
So they're like frozen in time.
It's like a snapshot of the early solar system.
And by studying them,
Yeah.
we can unlock secrets about what it was like back then.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do scientists actually read these time capsules?
Mm.
Like, how do they extract that information?
Well, one of the main ways is spectroscopy.
Oh, right.
Remember how we talked about analyzing the light from 2024 YR4
Yeah.
to figure out if it's a S-type or L-type? Yeah, like taking its fingerprint.
Uh-huh.
But instead of identifying a person, we're identifying the ingredients of the solar system.
That's so true.
It is cool.
And those ingredients can tell us where the asteroid formed.
Exactly.
So if it has certain metals,
Uh-huh.
it might have formed closer to the sun.
Closer and where it's hotter.
Yeah, because it's like a cosmic recipe book, right?
Uh-huh, I like that.
The ingredients tell you where it was cooked up.
Yeah, different parts of the solar system had different temperatures.
Right.
So different materials formed in different places.
It's amazing how much you can learn from just a chunk of rock.
It is.
So besides composition, what else do scientists look at?
Well, they look at its size and shape
Okay,
and how it's rotating.
how it's spinning.
Yeah, and that can tell us if it's a primordial object,
Primordial.
meaning it's been around since the very beginning,
Okay.
or if it's a fragment of something bigger that broke apart.
So 2024 YR4
Yeah.
could be a pristine relic
Mm-hmm.
from billions of years ago,
Yeah.
or it could be a piece of something that got smashed up,
Exactly. And figuring that out is part of the mystery.
like a cosmic detective story.
It really is.
And the clues are scattered all over the solar system.
out there somewhere.
This is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
This chunk of rock
Yeah.
that might hit us.
Right.
Could also hold the secrets to how our solar system began.
It really puts things into perspective, doesn't
It
it?
really does. It's all
And
connected.
everything is.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
We've learned so much about asteroids,
Yeah.
like how to track them, how to defend against them,
Right.
and what they can tell us about the past. It makes you realize that we live in a pretty amazing universe
We do.
where even something as small as an asteroid can have such a big impact.
No pun intended.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So next time you look up at the night sky,
Yeah.
think about all those little points of light
Uh-huh.
and the secrets they hold.
Out there.
Who knows? Maybe one of them is another 2024 YR4,
Maybe.
just waiting to be discovered.
Waiting to tell its story.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.